Right now, from the streets of Tel Aviv to the war rooms in Washington to the silent hills of southern Lebanon, something is happening that nobody saw coming. We are not talking about a small response. We are not talking about another round of empty threats traded back and forth on television. No, we are talking about a moment that has frozen the entire Middle East in place. A moment where Iran finally pulled back the curtain and showed the world exactly what it has been building in silence for years. Sirens are screaming across occupied territory. Phones are buzzing with emergency alerts. Families are running into shelters with their children in their arms. And the politicians who spent months mocking Iran, calling it weak, calling it broken, calling it finished, those same politicians are now sitting in dark rooms, staring at maps, asking one question over and over again. How did we miss this? Reports are flooding in from every direction. Waves of drones moving in patterns that no air defense system has ever been trained to stop. Missiles flying on paths that bend and twist in ways that defy every Western playbook. And deep inside Iran, a quiet announcement that has shaken the foundations of the entire region. Iran has unleashed its full response, and the world is watching the rules of war get rewritten in real time. Tonight, I am going to walk you through exactly what happened, why it happened, and what comes next. Because the story you are being told on mainstream news is not the full story. It is the polished, softened, sanitized version. But you came here for the truth, so let us begin. Before we go any further, I need you to do one small thing. If you can feel the weight of this moment, if you understand that history is being written right now, hit that subscribe button, not for me, for yourself. Because the next 72 hours are going to change everything, and you are going to want to hear it first, without the spin, without the lies. Now let us get back to it. To understand why Israel is stunned tonight, you have to understand what they believed just 1 week ago. 1 week ago, the war planners in Tel Aviv were confident. They believed Iran had been pushed into a corner. They believed the sanctions had broken its economy. They believed their airstrikes had destroyed the most important parts of Iran's missile program. They believed Iran would shout, scream, threaten, and then do nothing. They were wrong, because while they were celebrating, Iran was preparing, quietly, carefully, patiently. For years, Iran has been doing something that the West refused to take seriously. It was building a layered defense, not just missiles, not just drones, a complete system, a web, a network of weapons designed for one purpose: to make sure that when the moment came, nobody could stop the response. And that moment arrived this week. The first wave came at night. Hundreds of drones moving in coordinated swarms, lighting up the sky from multiple directions at once. Israeli air defense crews tried to track them. But here is the problem. These were not the slow, loud drones from years ago. These were a new generation, smaller, faster, smarter. Some flew low to the ground, hugging the terrain. Others flew high, acting as decoys to pull defense systems in the wrong direction. And while the radar operators were chasing shadows, the real punch was already on its way. Ballistic missiles. But not just any missiles. New ones. Hypersonic. Maneuverable. The kind that changed direction mid-flight. The kind that Western generals have warned about for years, but secretly hoped Iran would never actually build. Well, they built them, and they used them. I want you to pause for a second and really think about what this means. For decades, the world has lived under one assumption: that the most advanced military technology belongs to a small group of Western powers, that nobody else could catch up. That if a country like Iran ever tried to fight back, it would be crushed in hours. That assumption just died, and that is why the leaders in Washington, London, and Tel Aviv are not sleeping tonight, because the map of power has shifted, and they know it. Now, I want to tell you about something that almost nobody in the mainstream media is talking about, something that explains why this response was so different from anything before. Iran did not act alone. For years, an entire network has been forming in the shadows, a coalition that the West kept laughing at, kept underestimating, kept dismissing as broken pieces. But those pieces have been working together, sharing technology, sharing intelligence, sharing strategy. And this week, that network activated. From the north, rockets and drones launched in support. From the south, more pressure. From the east, cyber attacks that locked up critical Israeli systems for hours. And from the heart of Iran, the main response, all of it happening at the same time, all of it coordinated, all of it planned for this exact moment. This was not a reaction, this was a message. And the message was simple: the age of one-sided wars is over. Hold on, because what I'm about to tell you next is the part that has Western military analysts truly terrified. It is not just about the weapons Iran used, it is about the weapons Iran did not use. Yes, you heard me right. Intelligence reports, the real ones, the ones being whispered behind closed doors in NATO headquarters, are now suggesting that Iran held back more than half of its full capability. Think about that for a moment. Everything you saw this week, all the drones, all the missiles, all the chaos, all the panic in occupied territory, that was not the full force. That was a warning shot, a measured, controlled, calculated demonstration. Iran was saying, this is what we can do when we are being careful. Imagine what happens if we stop being careful. And that thought is what is keeping Israeli generals awake tonight. Now let us talk about something even more important, the human side, because behind every headline there are real people. In occupied territory, settlers are packing their cars, highways are jammed, airports are overflowing, wealthy families are pulling their kids out of school and booking one-way tickets to Europe and the United States. The illusion of safety has shattered. People who were told for years that they were protected by the strongest military in the region are now realizing that no military, no matter how strong, can stop every missile when there are too many of them. And on the other side, in Lebanon, in Gaza, in the towns and villages that have been bombed for months without mercy, people are watching with a mix of grief, anger, and something else, something the news will never show you, a quiet sense that finally, after all the suffering, somebody stood up. I am not glorifying war. War is the worst thing that humans do to each other. But I am telling you the truth about what people are feeling, because if you do not understand the emotions on the ground, you will never understand why this conflict is so dangerous and why it is so far from over. Let me pause here for a second. If this video is helping you see the bigger picture, if it is giving you the kind of honest breakdown you cannot find on the major news channels, do me one favor, subscribe to this channel. We are growing fast because regular people are tired of being lied to, and every single subscriber pushes this message past the filters trying to bury it, so join us. You belong here. Okay. Back to the story. Now we need to talk about the United States because no Middle East crisis is complete without Washington pulling strings in the background. And right now, Washington is in panic mode. Behind closed doors, American officials are scrambling. They are calling Iran through every back channel they can find. They are pressuring allies in the Gulf. They are trying to convince Israel to pause, to wait, to think. But here's the thing. Israel does not want to pause. Israeli leadership has built its entire image on the idea of being untouchable. And now that image is cracking. So they want to hit back, hard, fast, to prove they are still strong. But the American military knows something the Israeli public does not. America does not want this war. Not now. Not like this. Because if Israel hits Iran again and Iran responds with the full capability it has been holding back, the entire region explodes. Oil prices triple overnight, shipping lanes shut down, global markets crash, and American soldiers in bases across the region become targets. So now you have a strange situation, the American president talking tough in public, but his generals quietly begging Israel to stand down in private. This is the part of the story you will not see on the news, but it is the most important part because it tells you that the people in charge are scared, and when the people in charge are scared, anything can happen. Let me tell you about a moment that happened just hours ago. A senior Iranian official, speaking in a calm, almost casual voice, gave an interview that has gone viral across the region. He was asked, "Are you afraid of what Israel will do next?" He smiled and he said, "We have been preparing for this day for 40 years. We are not afraid. We are ready." Just those words, spoken without anger, without shouting, without threats. And somehow that calmness was more terrifying than any speech full of fire. Because confidence like that does not come from bluffing. It comes from knowing exactly what you have, knowing exactly what you can do, knowing that the other side has finally underestimated you for the last time. Meanwhile, in the markets, something interesting is happening. Oil is climbing, gold is climbing, the dollar is shaking. Investors, the smartest money in the world, are quietly moving their wealth into safe places. They are not waiting for confirmation. They are not waiting for the news cycle. They already know. When the smart money moves before the headlines, that is your sign. Something big is coming, and it is coming faster than most people realize. Now, I want to bring this all together because if you have watched this far, you are not a casual viewer. You are somebody who actually cares about the truth. So let me give you the truth straight. We are standing at a moment that future history books will write about. A moment where a country the West tried to crush stood up and refused to fall. A moment where the old rules of military power were rewritten. A moment where the illusion of total Western dominance cracked in front of the entire world. Whatever happens in the next few days, whether there is escalation or a sudden pause or a backroom deal that nobody hears about, one thing is permanent. The fear is real now. The respect, forced as it may be, is real now, and the balance of power in the Middle East will never look the same again. The settlers fleeing the north are not just running from missiles. They are running from a new reality, a reality where their leaders cannot promise them safety anymore, a reality where the country they were told was a fortress turned out to be a sandcastle, and on the other side, the people who have suffered for so long, who have buried so many children, who have watched their homes turn to dust. They are not celebrating, they are mourning, but they are also lifting their heads. Because for the first time in a long time, the world is being forced to look at them and listen. So here is my question for you, the one I want you to answer in the comments below. Do you believe this is the beginning of a bigger war, or do you believe this is the moment that finally forces real peace? Drop your answer below. One word: war or peace. I read every single comment, and I want to hear what you think, because your voice matters. Your perspective matters. And in a world full of noise, the only way the truth spreads is when people like you speak up. Stay sharp, stay informed, keep your hearts with the innocent on every side of every border. And remember, history is not made by those in power. It is witnessed, recorded, and remembered by people like you. I will see you in the next one.